Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar. Today is Wednesday, July 8th, and my name is Shonda Harris. I'm a business opportunity specialist with the Columbus, formerly Columbus SBA, now Ohio SBA, and we are so grateful that you've joined us today. Today's webinar is a collaborative effort between the SBA and the Ohio Apex Accelerator at Ohio University. And this webinar is a part of a series of webinars and trainings and outreach events that we put on every year as it relates to government contracting. So, if you're new to government contracting, if you've been doing it for a little while, or if you're a seasoned pro, we put on these webinars to give you a little bit more information to kind of help expand your knowledge base if you have any information about government contracting, or to establish that knowledge base or give you a good understanding about how government contracting works. Today's session is going to focus on the federal government, so we have different levels of government: federal, state, cities, counties. And so each year we try to get a sense of what our small businesses, what they may need, what they may want to see, and then we put together our training series. And so with that, today's training, over the past last month and this month, we're kind of focusing on federal government, doing business with the federal government. So different aspects of that. You can go back and listen to the webinars we did last week, last month. These are recorded, so you can always go back and listen to them. With that said, today's topic is on federal certifications and contracting assistance programs. We have a speaker that I've known and worked with for so many years. But before we get to that, let me introduce our wonderful partner, our partner in crime, the Ohio Apex Accelerator at Ohio University. Miss Sharon Hopkins serves as the director, and we're going to allow Sharon to give a little bit overview about Apex Accelerator, who they are, what they do, and how they can assist you in your government contracting journey. Sharon?
Thank you, Shonda.
Mm.
Good morning. I wanted to just take a minute or two to let you know a little about an Apex Accelerator if you're not familiar with us. If you are, bear with me and maybe you'll learn that something new that you didn't know we could assist with. But in your government contracting endeavors, the Apex Accelerator is a national organization. We're nationwide, and we are funded through the Department of Defense, the state of Ohio, and then locally in 61 counties in Ohio. Ohio University provides matching funds to provide all of our services to you, this Ohio small business, at no cost to you. So, with that said, I started off saying your government contracting endeavors. So, we will start off usually with a one on one meeting with you to find out what your goals are, what you're interested in doing, and then we can start helping you at that point. Normally, somebody's brand new, they don't know much. We've had other people that are halfway there, so we kind of try to pick you up where you are and keep you rolling forward. So, with that, we can help you today. We're talking about federal certification. We can assist you with federal certifications, the application. We do not do any of this that we're talking about for you. We give you tools so that you can do it, and we will help you. We will train you. We will walk you through things. Um, so obviously registrations, once we find out what your goals are, we help you get registered at the right government agencies. We also can help with socio-economic certifications, whether you're looking at something federal, state, or local certification. We also work with you to teach you how to do vendor research to find out if you don't even know what agencies might buy your product or service. We can help you figure that out. And then we also help you with marketing tools like building your capability statement. And I will still Shonda's thunder because later this month, I think it's July 22nd, we have a workshop on marketing to the government and capability statements. So that's coming up here in a couple weeks. We also will walk you through how to talk to government agencies, how to find industry day notices so you can attend industry days that the government will put on as they're looking for vendors. We also will talk to you about being compliant and that you're compliant with your contracts. We look at we look at solicitations with you. We will walk you through how to respond to a solicitation. We will teach you what to look for, how to make a decision on whether or not a solicitation is for you. Those are all things that we cover and will help you figure out as you move forward. And then once we do some post solicitation things, such as hopefully if we worked with you and you won your contract, then a lot of times people come back because they're so excited they forgot to pay attention to how to get paid. So they performed and now they need to submit an invoice. So we can help you look at all of those things. And then we do a few little extra things. If you're in the innovation area, we can do some counseling for the Small Business Innovation Research Program as well as the Small Business Tech Transfer. We can, walk you along those lines. There are a couple other government innovation programs that are considered grants, and those are the only things that we will assist grant wise are those innovation programs because we're not allowed to otherwise. And then we offer event, workshops and in person as well as webinars. And we help you with mentor protege if you're looking for a protege. We might help you, or if you're a protege looking for a mentor, we can't assist with that so much. You have to kind of find your own mentor on your own, but we certainly can walk you through. There's an application process to that as well. And there's multiple other things that come up, like cybersecurity and other things involving contracting with the federal government and state and local in some cases that we can assist you with. Typically, if your particular counselor does not know how to or doesn't know that much about a certain area, especially if you're in a niche industry, we have others throughout the state that we can call on to assist. And normally we can find somebody, even if it's out of state, that can help you depending on what your issue is. So with that, just realize everything that we're talking about today, and Apex Accelerator counselor can help you and answer questions if you are going after any of the certifications we talk about today. So with that, I'm going to throw this back over to Shonda. And welcome. We're glad you're here. And Shonda, get right ahead.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sharon. You can see um, all of the many things that Apex Accelerator can assist your company with. So they're not only just a trusted resource partner, but could be a great business partner to you as well, especially as you are getting started, as you continue on your government contracting journey. A couple of housekeeping items, real quick. If you do not have your mic on mute. If you can mute your mic, we greatly appreciate it. As the presentation is going forward, if you do have a question, we ask if you can go ahead and type it in the chat. I'll be monitoring the chat. If I can answer some of the questions, I will in the chat. And if we need to pose them to Jill, she can answer them. Um, and again, today's session is going to be recorded. And so Sharon at some point will put the link in the chat where you can access it on the Ohio Apex Accelerators website to get the link. It takes about a couple days to post, but you can always go back and look at this for a resource. All right. So again, without further ado, today's session is on federal certifications and contracting assistance programs. So you'll be able to find out how you can certify your small business for one of these certifications. If you qualify for contracts that are reserved for firms that have certain socioeconomic conditions. With that, I'm going to introduce Jill Nagy Reynolds. She's going to be our presenter for today, and Jill and I work hand in hand. We are hand in hand here at the district office, my partner in crime as it relates to working with small businesses and their government contracting needs. So, Jill, you
Well,
can take it away.
thank you so much, Shonda. It's always a pleasure. Yeah, we're usually helping to moderate and answer questions, not
Yes.
actually doing the presentation. So today we get to do the presentation. So excited about it. Welcome, everybody. So today we are going to talk about federal government certification programs that the SBA is responsible for implementing and maintaining compliance in. I feel that there's a need. We've had a series of trainings of Shonda mentioned before, and questions always come up about the socioeconomic certification program. So I am going to actually turn my camera off. You see what I look like? I'll put it back on when we're done. Um, it just for the sake of getting rid of a window here, if I can. Let me see if nope, I made it big. You see how I minimize that? No.
No, it's good.
Now I can't see my own screen, Shonda.
Oh,
This is,
you can't?
how do I go back? My
Do you
screen.
want me to?
Okay.
You got it.
I do, but I can't forward.
Do you want to send it to me
Nope.
and
Um,
have me forward it?
this is so funny because
Hey, but we're used to,
we've been
we
doing
can
this.
always adapt and adjust. That's what we're used to. You sure you don't want to send it to me?
Why can't I forward it anymore?
Are you using your arrows?
Yep.
Just send
I'm
it to
gonna
me.
stop sharing and then I'm going to share again.
Okay. And then if that doesn't,
And how do I change my
while
view?
she's doing that, I can just take a little poll so it can ask for those individuals that are on, how many by the show of, you can raise your hand, send one of the emojis, are doing business, have had a federal contract, either as a prime, where you have that direct contract with an agency, or as a subcontractor. Anybody already by a show of hands or reaction? Okay, I don't see any show of hands or
Can
reaction.
you see I'm sorry, Shonda, I don't mean to
Yes.
interrupt. Okay. I'm back.
Yeah. Yep, there
Okay.
we
There
are.
we go.
Okay,
All
and it
right.
looks like
Thank
we have
you.
a good audience.
Okay. So I apologize for that. You'd think after using Teams for the number of years and Zoom that I have that these things wouldn't happen, but I try to provide an example of some of the things that can go wrong sometimes. I always tell my kids when something like that happens, see, it still happens even when you're 50. For the agenda today, I think it's important that we talk about what it means to be a small business. by SBA size standards, and then we'll go into the actual socioeconomic programs, which include the Women-Owned Small Business Program, Economically Disadvantaged Women-Owned Small Business Program, the 8A program, Veteran-Owned and Service-Disabled Veteran-Owned program, HUBZone, and then how you can apply for these programs through my SBA certification. So we're going to talk about a lot today. You will be able to have access to the presentation afterwards. We can send it out to you, or we can also have it posted on the Ohio Apex Accelerator at Ohio University website. So, and as Shonda mentioned, please put questions in the chat. We will answer them the best that we can. And if we don't know an answer, we'll go back and get an answer. Uh, when you're getting started in federal government contracting, and again, this presentation is only federal, it's very important to make that distinction because every level of government operates differently. We get questions at the district office fairly often, especially around getting like a lot of businesses will ask us, hey, how do I get a small business, an SBA certification or a small business certification? Uh, there is no SBA does not issue certifications for small business. That is not a thing. How businesses are determined to be small, it's a self-certification when you go in as a business owner or a representative of a business and you put together your SAM registration. So your SAM registration, when you are filling out the actual registration, you will have to determine a primary industry code, and those are called NAICS codes. They stand for North American Industry Classification System codes, and those codes just translate what you do in terms into government speak. So when you are registering your business in SAM.gov, you have to choose a primary NAICS code, and that NAICS code, that primary NAICS code, should be where the majority of your income is currently coming from. One thing that we discovered during COVID and as we were assisting businesses with idle loans, we discovered that a lot of times accountants will assign a business a NAICS code, and that business owner may not even know that they've been assigned a NAICS code. So it should be where the majority of your income is coming from. Uh, you can, however, put in as many secondary NAICS codes as you want to into your SAM registration, but your size is determined by the size standards that are around the SBA size standards that are around NAICS codes. So if you have a business that is a service-related industry, so service-related industry businesses, everything from construction to IT to marketing, those are all determined by a 5-year average gross receipts. So when you go into SAM, you're going to have to look at your tax returns for the previous 5 years, write them all down, like the gross income. Add them all up and divide by 5. And essentially that's the very, very simple way of saying what your size is by SBA size standards. If you are a manufacturing business, your size is determined by the number of employees that you have. So you have to be operating at a for profit in order to bid on federal contracts. You can't be a nonprofit. Nonprofits can bid on grants. But in any type of business, whether you're a sole proprietorship, partnership, corporation, you can register your business in SAM and then determine whether or not you qualify as a small business. I would say 99% of the businesses that we meet with, whether it's at networking events, at trade shows, they qualify, but not 99, let's say 95. They would qualify as a small business. If this is the first time you're seeing this slide or first time you've ever heard of NAICS codes, that is what your Apex Accelerator is here to help you with, is um, They can get you in touch with a, listing of all NAICS codes, like a website that you can go to look at them. But there are multiple NAICS codes and multiple categories. And before you register in your business in SAM.gov, you should do research on NAICS codes first. So again, just to give you, so you can have it written out what NAICS code looks like. So it's a North American Industry Classification System. And they're used for administrative contracting and tax purposes. So it essentially what I learned when I first started in government contracting, it's translating what your business does into government speak. And they're used throughout federal government. So as soon as you get into federal government procurement, you're going to start being able to rattle off your NAICS codes just as if, just like you can your childhood phone number. They're just going to just fly out of your mouth. You're going to know your 236-220 or 541-511. So and again, your Apex accelerators can really help you understand which NAICS codes you should have in your profile. But I will say you should have a primary NAICS code, and that should be where the majority of your income is coming from. I like this slide because I think that every business that is interested in doing business with the federal government, there's certain considerations that you should keep in mind as you're getting started, because this will help to um, uh, help to kind of get you prepared for what the process is, but also give you realistic expectations, because the government, the federal government, is the largest buyer of goods and services in the world. The budget is around 600 billion. I think it's more than that now, but it's a definite opportunity for your business, but you have to prepare for your success. So there's certain things that you need to consider, and this slide is more designed to help you understand like the how you can support a federal contract, because a lot of the contracts are multiple year contracts, and they have uh, uh, larger dollar values. And so while that sounds great, if you are a business that has cash flow, or if your average income is around, I don't know, 500,000 a year, are you prepared for a $5 million contract, a $3 million contract? So there are things that you can do ahead of time to help to plan for your success. Like, for example, do you have a relationship with a lender in the event you do get a larger contract, so that you can have capital lined up to be able to pay for your labor, to pay for your materials, pay for your office space, all the things that you would need to be able to do to support a larger contract. So as you're getting started and as you're thinking about federal government, these are things that I would say are important to keep in the back of your mind as you're getting started. Like you want to be able to get that first contract, and it's great when you do, but you want to be able to have a second and a third and a fourth. And if you don't perform well on that first contract, you'll have a much harder time like getting the second and the third, because you're rated based on your performance, and you want that performance to be great every time so that you can get a second and a third and a fourth. And that's what we want you to be able to do too. Um, Another consideration, so I got a call yesterday from a person that owns a gym. So you really need to think about, does the government buy what you sell? So you need to take a look at what type of business, what your capabilities are, and if they are a fit for the federal government. So just because the federal government is out there and available and buys things, it doesn't mean that it necessarily buys exactly what you sell. Uh, the government buys most things, and I'm always surprised at some of the things that they do buy. But you have to do that market research. You have to find out, okay, here's the core capabilities of my business. Where would this fit into government contracting? And again, your Apex accelerators can help that. Do you have federal contracting experience? So you may not have direct federal contracting experience, but as a business, if you've done subcontract work to prime contractors that have federal government experience, that'll help get you exposed to like what the paperwork that's involved, the additional certifications that might be involved depending on the job. Like if you're in construction, you might need to be bonded. If you are in IT, there's certain like quality assurance. There's just, you want to be able to look into those things. And do you know how to find contracting opportunities? So, as Shonda mentioned, we've done a series of trainings kind of addressing some of the things that are on this slide, like market research, submitting a proposal. You can find recordings of those trainings on the Ohio Apex Accelerator at Ohio University website, and you can always give us a call too. So let's go ahead and dive into set aside programs. And actually, this leads to me to another phone call that I had recently where the business had gotten like a WOSB certification, they'd gotten Edge certification, and they found out that their business isn't really like their type of business isn't necessarily utilized by the government. So they were asking me, I have this woman-owned small business certification. What do I do with it? Well, let me tell all of you that this program, the one that we're going to talk about today for women-owned small business and economically disadvantaged women-owned small business, is for federal contracts only. So this certification would benefit your business if you were actively bidding on federal contracts. The same thing for the 8A program, the HUBZone program, and the Service Disabled Veteran Owned Small Business Program. These certifications are specifically for federal government contracting. Um, I would like to say that the federal government is the only level of government that has a 23% set aside for small business. So by law, 23% of business is set aside for small business through that self-certification process that I talked about at the beginning of the presentation. So by being a self-certified small business, that allows you to bid on, once your SAM registration is valid and you have a cage code, then you can start actively bidding on contracts. And if you're self-certified as small, you can go into sam.gov, search active opportunities and bid on small business set-asides in addition to full and open competition set-asides. Now, you would need the actual certification for bidding on set-asides that are reserved for woman-owned small business, which is a 5% set-aside 8A, which is also a 5% set-aside. HUBZone is a 3% set-aside, and Service Disabled Veteran-Owned is a 3% set-aside. So uh, if I'm going fast in this section, it's just because like you can learn these things through your Apex Accelerator as well. Like they can teach you when you're looking in SAM and when you're looking for contracting opportunities in sam.gov, how to search for particular notice types that will say that they are reserved for HUBZone or woman owned or 8A. So if you have those certifications, you would want to be looking at those types of opportunities. If you don't have those certifications, you don't want to look at them because you're not qualified for them at that time. So when just as food for thought, and I've talked about that, like know what agencies buy your products and services. before you dive into the certifications, because it's quite a process to become certified under one of the socioeconomic programs. So you want to make sure that the government buys your products and services before you go ahead and get certified. Find your niche. I think that's important. I've met with a lot of businesses over the years that are like, I'll just sell, I'll sell whatever the government needs. Just let me know. You need to really be able to focus in on uh, one line of business or two lines of business, because you really have to hone in on what it is that your business is good at, what your capabilities are. And then focus in on those opportunities, because you could spend so much time just looking at all of the different products and services and get overwhelmed with that, and then just kind of not make much progress in terms of actually submitting proposals or finding that first contract. Uh, there is a cycle to government spending. Understanding what the cycle is, and then understanding who your competition is, because you can find out an awful lot of information about who buys what you sell through researching your competition. And that's a whole different webinar training that we've done before on how to research your competition to find out where your fit might be. Sam.gov is actually a huge tool that GSA actually put together a lot of legacy systems. So now SAM isn't just where you register your business to do business with the federal government. It's also where contracting opportunities can be found. It's where the list of debarred contractors shows up. So it's a giant procurement portal, and all of you should be familiar with it if you intend to become certified in any of these socioeconomic programs. There's so much, it's as important to understand how to bid on contracts and the acquisition cycle uh, all of that as it is to have one of these certifications. So we'll just go ahead and talk about them. All right, we're going to start with the Woman-Owned Small Business Program and the Economically Disadvantaged Woman-Owned Small Business Program. You'll notice that they are actually in two categories. So to keep myself from saying woman-owned small business and economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business over and over again, I'm going to refer to the woman-owned small business program as WASB and the economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business program as EdWASB. So this we're going to talk about the difference between the two. So WASB is just woman-owned small business, and Ed WASB means that the woman is the business is a small woman-owned business, but the woman business owner has to be economically disadvantaged. And they're in two categories because this program is based on NAICS codes. So there are some NAICS codes where it has been determined that women are substantially underrepresented. And if they're substantially underrepresented, they don't have to be economically disadvantaged. And the other category of NAICS codes are women are underrepresented but not substantially underrepresented. In that case, then they would fall under the Ed WASB. So for both programs, in order to qualify for certification, the business has to be 51% owned and controlled by U.S. citizens who are women. The women have to hold the highest officer positions. Like most of the time, what we see is 51% owned and controlled by one woman. Sometimes it's by more than one woman. But a woman has to have the highest officer position. They should be seeking federal contracts again for this program. You need to be seeking federal contracts. The woman has to have managerial experience, control the day-to-day operations, and understand that there's no minimum time in business that the applicant has to have in order to submit an application for certification. Oh, I'm going backwards. Okay. So for the Ed Wasby, all of the qualifications that were on the prior screen hold true. But in addition to that, the woman business owner, their personal net worth has to be less than $800,000 or less. And the fair market value of all of their assets at 6.5 million or less. So there's always some questions around what the difference is, like when looking at the personal net worth versus the fair market value of all assets. So when we look at when SBA looks at personal net worth, there's certain things that we take out. Those things include equity that you have in your business, equity that you have in your primary residence, and the value of your IRA or retirement accounts if you are below the age where you can make withdrawals from it. The SBA will ask for that information. Like they will ask for financial statements that show like the equity in your business, and they'll ask for information about your primary residence, but they will take that information out of your net worth calculation. But when they are looking at the fair market value of all of your assets, they include those things. So your business equity is included, your primary residence equity is included, as is your retirement accounts. So that's kind of the difference there. I will tell you that over the years, like more and more of the woman-owned small business codes are now WASB rather than Ed WASB. And I've been with the SBA since 2012, but before that, I was with PTAC. And when I started with PTAC in 2008, the Woman-Owned Small Business Program was just like two NAICS codes. And then they made a massive change to it in 2011, where they included many, many, many more NAICS code categories than there were at the time. So the program has gone through some major shifts in the last decade, and it's looking to go through additional major shifts. I don't have anything official from the SBA about proposed changes to the Ed WASB or WASB program, so I haven't included it in this presentation, but you can definitely Google proposed changes to the Ed WASB program, and you'll see several articles. Mostly, I would stick with articles that are from law offices. They seem to be really on top of like proposed law changes, but there's nothing official as of today from the SBA on it. So WASB, again, for WASB certification, the NAICS code assigned to the contract is in an industry where WASBs are substantially underrepresented. So how this works with you is that if you have the WASB certification, then you can bid on any contract, and you would see the contracts again in SAM.gov, and it might be designated as set aside for WASB. If it's set aside for WASB and you have the WASB certification, you can bid on that contract. If you are certified Ed WASB, you can bid on Ed WASB contracts and WASB contracts, because as an Ed WASB certified small business, you have gone through the economic disadvantage portion of it, because you're a woman owned, but you're also economically disadvantaged woman owned. The same can't be said for WASB. If you only have the WASB certification, you cannot bid on Ed WASB set aside contracts because you haven't gone through the review for your economic disadvantage. Um, I know that I'm saying a lot. Hopefully, it's not confusing, but essentially, if you're economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business, you are automatically also woman-owned small business. So you could bid on both of them. So the rule of two, contract. So what this means when you see language like this, rule of two, it means that like in federal contracting, it makes sense for you to become friends with other woman-owned small businesses or other economically disadvantaged woman-owned small businesses because if you're bidding on the same contract, like the contracting officer, if both of you have reasonable proposal submissions, then the contracting officer should consider setting that aside because they have the reasonable expectation that two or more woman-owned small businesses can perform that work. And the rule of two pertains to all of SBA socioeconomic programs. And finally, the contract must be awarded at a fair market price. There's a whole section in the federal acquisition regulation talking about fair market price and how federal government determines that. When I'm talking about like doing your research when you're getting into federal government contracting, these like that's something that would be worth finding out, like how the government determines fair market price or fair and reasonable. I went pretty quickly through woman-owned small business. If any of you have any questions, I know that Shonda is monitoring the chat on that. So uh, a, that is really the woman. There are several different woman-owned small business certifications. Again, this one is for the federal government, but there is, if you were wanting to do business with the state of Ohio. There is an EDGE certification, which is encouraging diversity, growth, and equity. There's also a woman-owned small business certification at the state, but there isn't any set aside attached to it as of today. So uh, uh, while you can get certified at the state of Ohio, it really doesn't do much for you in terms of procurement at the state level. The EDGE certification has a goal attached to it that could be of benefit to you when you're bidding on state contracts. And then there's also industry, like for if you wanted to get woman-owned small business certified to do business with Honda or Procter and Gamble or any of the large Fortune 500 companies, they have a WBE certification or Women's Business Enterprise. And you can find out more information on that. If you're located in Ohio, I recommend looking at the Ohio River Valley Women's Business Enterprise National Council or WeBank. I'll make sure that gets in the chat. I see some things coming through the chat. Shonda, you're just answering them?
Yes, because
Okay, gotcha.
yeah.
All
Hmm.
right. All right. So that's essentially the federal woman-owned small business and economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business program. And at the end of the presentation, I have a couple of slides on how you can apply for these programs, where you need to go for it. So I
Jill,
don't, yes.
I will bring up this one because I don't know if she mentioned it, but I think it'll be a good plug for Apex and their bid match. This isn't really a question, but where people can find other opportunities outside of SAM. So Cheryl, let me read the question. Cheryl said, "Thank you for this program." She's currently WOSB and already contracted through Freddie Mac and been working with them since 2008. And she got her WOSB from their requests. She hasn't applied for any new government contracts simply because she didn't know how to. And she just wanted to say thank you for the tip about sam.gov. You can find opportunities on sam.gov, but also if you sign up with the Apex Accelerator, you can get opportunities about upcoming bid opportunities through their bid match. And so their bid match is set up, the NAICS codes that Jill spoke about that identify that your industry, using those codes and those keywords for your business, they can set up searches and it'll search a variety of databases to find opportunities that correlate to the search that you set up, and it'll send that to you on a daily basis. And then the Apex accelerators can help you go through those bids, look at them, but that bid match is a service that the Apex accelerators does have, and it is for free. And you can also find other opportunities, set aside opportunities. And these other questions, Jill, I can
Okay.
answer. Yeah, I'll answer in the chat.
Very good. And in addition to
Oh,
meeting with Apex, like they can help you interpret what you see in SAM.
yeah.
Because when you're new to this, it can all look like a foreign language. And it can feel like a world that you don't really belong in. And but you do belong in it. You just give yourself enough time to learn it and to just meet with the resources that are here to help you. And before you know it, you're going to be rattling off NAICS codes and knowing like all of the acronyms for the federal different federal agencies. So, um, all right, we're going to switch gears here and we're going to talk about 8A, the 8A Business Development Program. So the 8A Business Development Program is the only socioeconomic program that is business development in nature. And just to give the history for it and why it was created, uh, so Congress at the time said, okay, we want to give small businesses an ability to compete, but we're going to create it as a business development program. All of the socioeconomic programs are combined, were created to help small businesses compete in the federal marketplace, which includes like giants, like Boeing and Raytheon and GE and General Dynamics. How can you as a small business compete with multi-billion dollar companies? So the programs were created to create, like, put a little a smaller market. The like a woman-owned small business certified company, Boeing doesn't have access to those contracts because they aren't a woman-owned small business. Same thing with the 8A business development program. It's a when you're 8A certified, you're part of a smaller market of contracting opportunities. You can still go after the full and open competition. You can try and submit an offer, with the full and open competition, but you're up against the giants of the industry. The 8A business development program is a little bit different because there is a business development component in it. That's what Shonda and I both do. Uh, we work with businesses that are certified in the 8A program, in addition to the other things we do. But primarily, that is we work with businesses that are 8A certified. We don't assist with the application process. It's once a business is certified in the 8A program, then they are sent we call them portfolio. Their portfolio is sent to the SBA district office where the 8A participants geographical office is located. So the purpose is to get businesses access to business development support. Build capacity is the goal. We want those businesses to build capacity and then be able to bid on contracts on their own without having the support of the 8A program. And it is the only socioeconomic program with a timeline. So 8A participants can only participate in the 8A program one time. So I know the slides talk about this, but I love giving stories. That's how I learn the best is through stories or experiences of others. Like when I was new at SBA, I was assigned an 8A firm that got into the program. Sometimes it can take a long time between when you submit your application and when you're actually certified. And in this case, this firm sold their shares before they were actually approved. And then they got approved, and I got their application, and I spoke with the owner, and he's like, "Well, I sold my shares. I don't actually own the business anymore." What happened to both the business and the owner is that that owner had used their one-time uh, eligibility. The business is only eligible one time, and the disadvantaged individual upon whom eligibility is based can only participate one time. So he sold his shares and thought he could purchase another business or start another business and reapply for 8A, but you can't do that. You can only do it one time. So he was actually certified, I think, for 3 days. And so you just really want to plan for your success in 8A. And that being said, I'm going to get into important program changes that are on the horizon. So, uh, but this is just to give you the kind of the history for it. Um, so part of what I do is like when I'm meeting with 8A companies for the first time when they're newly certified, they have to submit a business plan, and I go through that business plan with them and see what I'm very, very interested in their federal government contracting goals. I want to know uh, what they've done in the past to try and get government contracts, if they've had federal contracts, and if they've had federal contracts, where, and then what they intend to do in the future. I'll look at their website, I look at their capability statement, I look at their business plan. I'm all up in your business when you first get into the program, but hopefully in a good way. I'm there for your success. And I want you to do the best that you can in those 9 years. We also work to help the small businesses understand government contracting. And we also, because this is a 9 year period, we are always foot stomping the importance of obtaining non 8A work. It's so important. The program is actually designed to wean you off of 8A contracts, like in years 5 through 9. Like you can only have a certain amount of contracting dollars as a result of 8A contracts. Um, and let's see, you need to check and see if 8A is appropriate for you, especially when we get to and like I said, there's a lot of changes that are happening to the program. So it's hard to give this presentation when we're in the midst of of these changes, but I think it's important to talk about. And so I added slides to today's presentation. But um, when you're applying for 8A, again, you want to make sure you have the proper NAICS codes. As I said, your primary NAICS code should be where the majority of your income is coming from. And in fact, you won't be able to because you're certified in 8A under one NAICS code, but you can obtain contracts under any NAICS code. But that one NAICS code is the primary NAICS code. You can shift it from one year to another year if you can demonstrate to the SBA that your income is shifted from one NAICS code to another. At the application process, you have to demonstrate your potential for success. So for 8A, they want you to have been in business for 2 years. So successfully in business for 2 years. And then are you able to have commercial and government balance? And you have a diminished ability to compete. So those are some of the things that you need to consider before applying for 8A. Again, 8A is one time only. As I mentioned before, it's based on the business and it's based on the disadvantaged individual. So the disadvantaged individual, it's got to be 51% owned and controlled by a U.S. citizen who is both socially and economically disadvantaged. So I'm going to talk about the proposed changes on um, the upcoming slides so that you can really put into just see if these proposed changes, how they will affect your thoughts of applying for 8A. So do you have past performance, as I talked about before? Do you have federal past performance? You don't have to when you apply for 8A, but it definitely helps. It helps for all applicants to have all applicants in any of these socioeconomic programs have some knowledge of federal government before you apply for any of them. So in order to qualify for 8A, just the business must be a small business that is owned and controlled at least 51% by a U.S. citizen who is both socially and economically disadvantaged. That disadvantaged individual must demonstrate good character. So those are some of the eligibility requirements. Uh, for the uh, in business for at least 2 years, there is a waiver for that. Anytime I talk to a business interested in 8A, I really don't think you should apply if you haven't had your business in operation at least 2 years, but sometimes, you're just ready to go. But there is a waiver, but the waiver, it has to include all five of these things. So if you're applying for a waiver, you have to prove to SBA that you have the business management experience in your primary NAICS code, you have the technical expertise, you have adequate capital, you have successful past performance. And successful past performance would be outside of the 8A program. Like it would be just like it could be commercial past performance, it could be uh, uh, other government agencies, it could be with other federal agencies so that not, not necessarily, it could be a small business contract that you performed, subcontracting, anything actually, as long as your business is generating business from somewhere. I mean, not that you're if you're a landscaping company, we wouldn't look at you mowing lawns for your neighbors necessarily as successful past performance. It would be you having contracts with places that require a professional landscaping. Okay, so for the economic disadvantage requirement for the disadvantaged individual, it's the same as the woman-owned small business program. So the personal net worth has to be less than 850,000. 3-year average income is $400,000 or less, and the fair market value of all assets is $6.5 million or less. Fair market value of all assets, as I mentioned before, we would take SBA looks at your business equity, primary residence equity, and retirement accounts. I kind of breezed through this, but for the 8A program, it is a two-phase certification. So there's a developmental phase, which is years 1 through 4, and a transitional phase, which is years 5 through 9. So in years 1 through 4, 8A companies can have up to 100% of their revenues coming from 8A contracts. And the first thing I will tell businesses when they are going through their orientation with the 8A program is that you should never have 100% of your revenues coming from 8A contracts, because when you hit years 5 through 9, there is a requirement. It's called the business activity target, and the other thing is you have to submit an annual review to us every year. So in that annual review, you have to submit your federal taxes, your financial statements, I mean, your business federal taxes, your business financial statements, your personal federal taxes. And then you also need to tell us how much of your revenues came from 8A contracts. So it's not a problem in years 1 through 4. You could have up to 100% of your revenues from 8A. And just to go back to the example I gave at the beginning of the presentation, like when you are a small business and your revenues are $500,000 a year, that's fantastic. But say you get an 8A contract that is a $4 million over 5 years, all of a sudden your revenues are going to be uh, much more as a result of an 8A contract because you only had the $500,000 when you were getting it, when you were getting started, but all of a sudden you got this big 8A contract. And so your revenues are more 8A than they are non 8A. And that's okay at the beginning, but you need to be planning immediately on how you're going to obtain non 8A work because otherwise, when you hit year 5 through 9, so in year 5, you can't have more than 85% of your total revenues from 8A. Then it goes down to 75% in year 6, to 65 in year 7, to 55 in year 8. So that, I mean, it keeps going, your percentage of allowed 8A revenues keep going down the longer you're in the program. So the thought is that while 8A is a great tool, you need to also be taking advantage of the other education in obtaining non 8A work. And those things go hand in hand, like conducting market research is for federal government as a whole, like understanding how to respond to proposals, getting teaming agreements and joint ventures and all of that is that's those are all tools to help you obtain contracts, whether they're 8A or non 8A. I'm going to stop foot stomping that, but and I'm especially paying attention to it because we have at SBA a renewed enforcement of business activity targets. So if firms are not meeting those, they are being suspended from sole source contracts until they are able to meet it. And it's very black or white right now. We used to have like a good faith effort. We still have it, but it's not a good faith effort means you're trying to obtain non 8A work, but now right now you have to prove that you're obtaining non 8A work. So if you're interested in 8A, you need to definitely keep these things in mind. All right. So, getting the most out of your 8A certification, I would say getting the most of any of the socioeconomic certifications is really first having a basic understanding of federal government. So there is sole source authority under the 8A program, and I'm not going to talk a lot about it because there's proposed changes under for that sole source authority that we haven't gotten official notification on, like as of today. The sole source contracting threshold is 5.5 million for service and 8.5 million for manufacturing. So what that means to you is like contracting officers can award contracts to 8A participants without justification and approval. They can say, okay, I know that ABC company is an 8A certified company. They would check with the district office where that company is being serviced to verify that the 8A firm is in good standing with the program. And then that firm could be awarded that contract. It's not competed. There's no justification and approval. It can be awarded. What makes 8A different than the other socioeconomic programs is that there's no justification and approval for awarding an 8A contract. There is for women-owned small business and HUBZone. But I don't want to talk again. There's a major change in addition to what the proposed change is for 8A. There's a proposed change for within the federal acquisition regulation, which is the rule making body for all federal contract, well, not all, but most federal contracting. But so it's called the Revolutionary FAR Overhaul. And Shonda, if you can think about it, or we can put it in the chat, like the link to the Revolutionary FAR Overhaul, so that you can take a look at it because it's going to once it's finalized, it's going to significantly change how federal contracting is how it works. These changes started like the Revolutionary FAR overhaul. It's been about a year, maybe more than that. It's not finalized yet, but it's important, especially FAR Part 19. FAR Part 19 is where all of the small business programs are. Uh, and Understand that I think it's important to say that the FAR is for contracts and the CFR, which is a Code of Federal Regulations, is for SBA socioeconomic programs. And right now they aren't in agreement with each other. It's a little bit in flux, but SBA manage the socioeconomic programs are governed by the Code of Federal Regulations. So uh, uh, I, as a business opportunity specialist, look at the Code of Federal Regulations for SBA's programs, the socioeconomic programs, rather than the FAR first. It's the CFR first and then the FAR. But for contracting actions, it's the FAR first and then the CFR. I know that can be confusing, but that's why we're here, is to help you understand all of that. So this morning, before this presentation, I went ahead and created these slides. So you can see that I put it as of today, July 7th. And I went into the Federal Register. The Federal Register is the official, it houses the Code of Federal Regulations, which governs the 8A program. And I put this so that you can see. So this is the official site that talks about the changes to the 8A program. So it's titled Proposed Reforms to Remove SBA's 8A Rebuttal Presumption of Social Disadvantage. And keep in mind, this is for individually owned firms only. So you may not know that there is in the 8A program, there are individually owned firms, which is what I just spent the last 15 minutes talking about, the socially and economically disadvantaged. But there are also entity-owned firms within the 8A program. And entity-owned firms are firms that are owned by uh, uh, tribes, like Native American tribes, Alaska Native tribes, Hawaiian, and those three categories really. So if it's a tribally owned firm, it is considered entity, and they are exempt from these new changes. Okay, so and I recommend all of you, when you click on the Federal Register link, it'll take you to the entire, it'll take you to the reasoning for the change, and then it will also take you to the outline of what the changes will be. So this is a synopsis of the changes. It's not everything that's in there, but it's kind of the highlight of it. Okay, so the proposed change is a new test for social disadvantage. So the SBA is proposing to remove all previous tests, including the individualized narrative test and the rebuttal presumption. Okay, and establishing a single objective framework. So in establishing the social disadvantage, an individual must show an entity bias. So that would be a federal, state, or local government, university, corporation discriminated against their racial, ethnic, cultural group or material harm. So they suffered a loss of access to or diminished opportunities for economic advancement due to that bias. So examples of eligible discrimination. So the rule explicitly highlights that group bias can be proven by unlawful diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI or affirmative action policies, race-based quotas, set-asides or hiring targets, prior SBA rules that excluded the citizens group from the rebuttal presumption. So it's quite a bit different than what currently exists. But again, it is in the public comment phase. Okay, application process, instead of writing a narrative, which is what was required before, Applicants can self-certify that they belong to the affected group at the time and suffered material harm, or they can submit objective proof of the discriminatory policy using public tools like corporate or government websites, official policy duties, court decisions, or audits. So these are the proposed rules. I am not in a position to provide any type of speculation on what this will look like at the end. I just think it's important for everyone to understand that these changes are being proposed. And also, the changes are open for public comment currently. So uh, this is the information on how to submit a public comment. So any official federal rule change has to go because they need to get or they are required to get feedback from the public. And you have, as a member of the public, until July 13th if you wanted to submit comments on these proposed rule changes. And this is how to submit a public comment. And the deadline is approaching. So if you wanted to submit a public comment, you have until the 13th to do so. So I will also say that the 8A program, we have not accepted any new participants into the program since August of 2025. So anyone that has submitted their application, it has been if they've submitted their application, August 2025 to present, it has not been processed. So uh, uh, while you can still apply for the program, again, new applicants, there has not been a newly certified 8A application process since August of 2025. And I see that Shonda is taking those questions unless you want to if there's anything, Shonda, that you wanted to bring like into the presentation, I'll just keep on going.
Good.
All right, very good. So we're also going to talk about these veteran-owned small business certification. So veteran-owned small business is a 3% set aside, and it is a certification designed for veteran-owned businesses to compete for sole source or set aside opportunities. And it is now the Vet Cert program is in with my SBA certifications, which I'll have a slide dedicated to. So like the other two programs, it's the for veteran certification. The business has to be 51% owned and controlled by U.S. citizens who are veterans. And then there's also the service disabled veteran-owned small business. And I'm going to refer to them as VOSBs and SDVOSBs. I will say that in federal contracting, it is the SDVOSB certification that has the set aside. It's a 3% set aside. VOSBs have a goal, which means, the government might reach that goal, might not reach that goal, but the SDVOSB is a set aside, which is required by law. So for the SDVOSB, the veteran business owner would have to have a service connected disadvantage. And the application process talks about how you can go about getting that service disabled designation and to see if you would qualify for that if you are a veteran. So in order to qualify for the service disabled or veteran owned, the business must be a small business, 51% owned and controlled by U.S. citizens who are veterans. For the service disabled veteran owned small business, you must have 51% of the business owned and controlled by one or more veterans that are service disabled, designated service disabled by the VA. And this is permanently disabled veterans may still qualify if their spouse or appointed caregiver can assist with daily operations. And there's reciprocal certification for woman-owned and 8A small business. I will say the SBA is really encouraging veteran-owned businesses, business owners to apply for certification. There's been a big push for veteran-owned certifications, increasing that for the past year. So that is really one of the missions of the SBA in its government contracting side. This is a really old slide that I should get rid of, but I mean, it's still good in terms of, what was happening at the beginning of January 2024. So in 2024, we had over 25,000 veteran-owned small business and service disabled veteran-owned small business. Um, just a note here, if you are veteran owned and you're pursuing this certification, the VA, the Veterans Administration, really tries to do business with veteran owned and service disabled veteran owned first. They try and walk the walk. If you are eligible for certification, I often encourage veteran-owned to look at the VA for potential contracting opportunities. Um, so the purpose is to enable veteran-owned companies to compete for sole source and set-aside contracts. They trying to facilitate business development and provide access to more prime and subcontracting opportunities. So finally, and I'm almost out of time, like we're just gonna dive into HUBZone. Like HUBZone is totally different than the other three. So HUBZone has totally different eligibility requirements, and SBA is also really focusing hard on HUBZone right now. So HUBZone stands for Historically Underutilized Business Zone, and I think it was created like in the 90s by Congress to stimulate capital investment, build capacity and growth, and access HUBZone contract dollars. So HUBZone is a 3% set aside, just like service disabled veteran owned is also 3%. So it stands for Historically Underutilized Business Known. And the purpose was to increase employment opportunities, capital investment, and economic leverage in areas that are designated as historically underutilized business zones. So in order to submit an application to become HUBZone certified, the business has to be 51% owned and controlled by U.S. citizens. The principal office of the business has to be located in a HUBZone. And you can find out where HUBZone areas are. Like if you go to SBA's website, if you go to sba.gov and then click on federal contracting and then go to HUBZone, you can look up and see if your principal office is located in a HUBZone. It's very black and white. Your principal office is either located in a HUBZone or it's not located in a HUBZone. And how SBA defines what a principal office is for HUBZone purposes, it's where the greatest number of your employees are working. Okay. So principal office definition is where the greatest number of your employees are working. And then the third component for eligibility for HUBZone is that 35% of your employees must reside in a HUBZone. So those are the three important definitions. So 35% of your employees must reside in a HUBZone. Your principal office must be located in a HUBZone, and the HUBZone has to be 51% owned and controlled by a U.S. citizen. You wouldn't believe how many applications we get for HUBZone certification where the business is owned by another business. I haven't seen that in the other socioeconomic programs, but it happens a lot. But no, it's got to be 51% owned and controlled by U.S. citizen. All right. So for HUBZone, the SBA has the right to visit that location at any time to verify that the principal office is in fact the business is operating out of that principal office. And during recertification, you have to verify that your business still meets the HUBZone criteria. Recertification happens every 3 years. You don't have to. Uh, uh, so one of the rule changes, what am I trying to say? So like a couple years ago, there was an update to the rules where as long as you are attempting to maintain your 35% of employees residing in a hub zone, then SBA would allow you a certain period of time. Like it can be really difficult for some businesses to maintain that 35% because employees come and go. So if the business was right at the 35%, but you lose one key employee, they're gone, like, and then now you're instead of at 35%, you're at 30%. You have a certain period of time where you are attempting to maintain. But how SBA monitors that is like, what are you doing to try and get that your percentage back up to 35%? How are you trying to find another HUBZone employee? So that happens during the recertification process, but you should be reporting to SBA when you're no longer meeting that minimum 35%.
Jill,
And yes,
this is a good question. I think that everybody can benefit from. Patrick had a question related to HubZone. What if you only had 1099 service providers and you don't have W-2 employees? Could you
uh,
still use 1099?
no.
Mhm.
Yeah, you cannot. It's fairly, yeah, they have to be W-2 employees to meet the definition of an employee. But that also, how SBA defines employees in HubZone is anyone that works for you at least 40 hours a month. So they don't have to be full-time employees. They have to be at least 40-hour a month employees, but they do have to be W-2. Yeah. Okay, so and also just like the other socioeconomic programs, HubZone has a set aside, it's 3%. So having HubZone certification means that you could bid on HubZone set aside contracts. You're eligible for HubZone sole source contracts. And you can build capacity through participating in a joint venture agreement or mentor protege. We do regular trainings on joint venture, what a joint venture agreement is, what the mentor protege program is, and understand that there are multiple mentor protege programs. Like at SBA, we can only talk on the SBA mentor protege program, but the Department of War also has a mentor protege program, and so do a lot of federal agencies. I will tell you that the SBA Mentor Protege program is the only one that is recognized like federal agency wide. So you could have the SBA Mentor Protege agreement, form a joint venture. That joint venture can be used to bid on any federal contract across the federal government. And this last bullet point, I'm not sure we do this for everybody. So access to training, management, technical assistance programs. We at the Ohio district, we work with Ohio Apex Accelerator to provide training to everyone. That's always been an important mission of ours. So I also included those of you that have been in the federal government marketplace for a bit will remember that all of SBA's socioeconomic programs, they had separate application sites. So if you as a business were qualified for woman-owned and HUBZone, you would have to apply in separate places, provide your taxes twice, provide your financials twice, all the things twice. And if you're eligible for all four of them, you would have to do it 4 times. So we have grown as an agency. Sometimes it can take a little bit of time, but we have a new portal that replaces all of the other application portals that we had for our programs, and it's called My SBA Certifications. It had a soft launch of, I think October, no, maybe October 24, like time is. So when My SBA certifications initially launched, it was only for 8A and woman-owned small business, and only to apply for the programs. Now, all four socioeconomic programs are inside of my SBA certifications. And we're getting, we're getting better. It had a rocky start. Some would say that it's still a little bit rocky. I think it is, but part of it is because while my SBA certification started just for new applications, it now is also used by all of us that are in business development. We do all of our annual reviews now through my SBA certifications, and that just started this current fiscal year. So um, we're having to learn how to navigate at the same time our 8A firms are having to navigate it. So it's been an interesting year for all of us with my SBA certifications. But it is now, again, this is what the home screen looks like, and it's actually certifications.sba.gov. So there's many features of this website that are really helpful for small business in determining, hey, am I eligible for this program? Should I apply for it? And this screenshot just shows you like three different things that you could do. Like, should I apply? Like if you click on that find out, it'll ask you some questions in there, and then based on your answers to those questions, it'll just tell you yes, you should, or no, you shouldn't. I know it's just like a computer program, but it can help answer some questions while you're waiting to meet with either someone from the district office or an Apex accelerator if you had additional questions about it. The center section here, prepare for application. When you click on that, that's where you'll find all of the documents that you'll have to get together for the actual application. And then if you wanted to find out, this is specific for HUBZone, you could launch that HUBZone calculator because it'll ask you, how many employees do you have? Is your principal office in the HUBZone? You can look at all of those things. Well, not through the HUBZone calculator. That's just for your employees. But you can look at the HUBZone map and plug your address in and find out if your business is located in a HUBZone or not. And actually, as I'm saying that out loud, like I'm 2 minutes over. I usually don't talk this much, but SBA is also looking, really focusing, like there was a rule update to HUBZone like 3 years ago that allows individual governors, like state governors, to petition for new HUBZone areas. So uh, uh, if you look and see that you do your principal office and you see that you're not in a HUBZone, but really think that your area should be HUBZone, it's got like certain criteria. It's got to be in a more rural area where the unemployment rate is a certain percentage, and anyone interested in it, I could send you the regulation, but your governor can petition for areas to be designated hub zones. So if you're not currently in a hub zone, but really could benefit from the program, you could see about petitioning your governor. And there are some governors that have been really gung ho about the program and some that have not. So SBA is really trying to educate all 50 of our governors about how to petition for hub zone areas. So I'm almost done. Yeah. So this is just kind of the application screening. In the perfect world, like I said, 8A, we haven't approved anybody since August of 2025. So, but in the perfect world of everything going as it should be, you have to make sure that your business is registered in SAM, and that you have a cage code. Being registered in SAM and having a cage code aren't the same thing. Like having your cage code means you have a successful SAM registration. So once you have that, then you can go and apply for any of these programs. And I threw in the small business search slide a while ago. I might take this out now, but this used to be this dynamic small business search. We transitioned it into the small business search like late last year. It's a phenomenal tool. Like you can plug like once you have a successful SAM registration, meaning you have a cage code, you can type your business name in here and you will have a profile, whether you wanted to or not. Like Sam and the small business search, they communicate with each other. This is a great way to see like your profile at fast glance. You don't need the
Mhm.
login.gov in order to see the profile. And if you're certified woman-owned HUBZone 8A SDVOSB, the SBA puts your certification status in here. So if you do get 8A certification or woman-owned small business certification, once you're officially certified, it shows up in here. And then it should go back, your certification status should go back into SAM, like I said, because they talk to each other. But SBA certifications show up in here first and then go into SAM. All right, that is it. There you
All
go. I
right.
got it.
Jill Nagy Reynolds went through. Thank you so much. Very informed, very detailed presentation, making sure I didn't miss the link to find the recording in the future. And I did post, well, I didn't mention that, but you can get it on the Ohio Apex website. I will post that again. And to access the recording, are there any additional questions? I know we're over a few minutes. Uh,
I could have left my contact
recording,
information up there. Of course, I didn't. Here.
please visit, you can visit this website. Then click on, did I already take it down? I didn't. Click on resources. Then click on the resources tab at the top of the page. Access today's recording and previously recorded
Is there any struggle?
training. Because I have nails and I'm trying to then click on the. All right, there we go. All right, to access today's recording, you can visit the Apex Accelerator at Ohio University's website. See the link in the chat. Click on the resources tab at the top of the page. And then I believe they are listed with the name of the training. And just as Sharon mentioned earlier, our next training is going to be on July 22nd. And that is going to be on, I should know this. I sent out the
I
thing.
can't remember.
I will tell you in a minute. I'll,
Marketing your business
there
through
we
your
go.
There you
capability
go.
Yes,
statement.
and
Okay.
you're creating a capability statement and other federal marketing material. Yes. Thank you. Um, and I believe that's it for all the questions. If you
Excellent.
haven't signed up to be an Apex Accelerator client, definitely want to do that today. Find out the closest Apex counselor to you. They can assist you if you're interested in applying for the certifications. If you have any issues with your SAM certification, if you need to update your SBA profile, they can assist with all those things and so much more. So definitely visit them. And we hope that you can join us next week. Visit the Apex Accelerator website to get the previously recorded trainings. And today's training should be posted by early next week. All right. With that said, thank you so much, Sharon. Thank you so much, Jill. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Have a beautiful day. And we look forward to you joining us in the future.